We could have been anything that we wanted to be. It's been decided where we could divide it.
I'm recording.
Okay, we're back with episode number... What number is this?
4.
4.
Done 4 to me, to you.
Oh, God. It's been a long week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We did this just like 3 days ago.
Yes, we did. Fuck. I forgot about that.
Not that anyone listening is gonna know, but...
I do wonder, the more we do this, if more... Have you told anyone
No.
that you know?
No.
Because I haven't either.
No.
Not yet. Maybe at some point.
Maybe.
If it comes up in conversation, I'm like, oh yeah, we're like 10 episodes deep now.
Yeah.
We still don't have a name. Welcome back to We'll Name This Podcast Later.
We'll name it later.
It's me, Tawana. That's Max.
Hiya.
This week is a nice little film.
Another musical.
Another musical.
So this isn't a theme, it's not a musical podcast.
No,
It's just...
but because I picked this one this week, I was inspired by your pick of Cabaret. That I don't know, I was like, you've never seen this film.
No.
It would be nice for you to watch it for the first time, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this film.
Yeah.
I have seen this film before, but years ago.
When did you first see it?
I think I saw it when I was 13 or 14.
Okay.
Now, the film this week is Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone.
Full disclosure, I've done Bugsy Malone.
I was gonna ask that.
I did it in high school.
Yeah?
Would you like to guess which character I played? Now that you've seen the film,
Ooh.
which character did I play?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know. I want to say... I could really see you as... Honestly, I could really see you as Fat Sam.
Oh!
You could kill that role.
Okay.
It's a fun role.
Okay.
Who did you play, though?
I played the black guy.
Fizzy or Leroy Smith?
The black guy.
Leroy Smith?
The black guy.
The only one in your version of the show.
The only... So you know Leroy Smith.
Yeah.
The one in Fat Sam who plays the piano.
Yes.
The one who cleans.
Fizzy.
I played all of them.
Oh
Even
God.
the one, the boxer.
Oh, Jesus.
So you wanna be a boxer?
That song was so out of nowhere. It was fun, but like... And it never comes up again. It's just like, and now we're doing this for a bit.
Okay, so... Quick story.
Yes.
So initially, it was an interesting pick. And at the time, I was, again, 13, 14. They didn't really allow the younger kids to play the lead roles.
Yeah, no. There's a hierarchy.
Yeah, you have to earn your stripes.
Hierarchical.
But because it was Bugsy Malone, and they make it clear in this film, he's... What is it? Italian father, Irish mother.
Do they? That
They
one over my head.
say, well, Fat Sam narrates it.
Oh yeah, it's right towards the beginning. Yeah.
So chances are I wasn't gonna play Bugsy,
Okay.
but at the exact same time with 13 and 14, we don't really know how to audition. You're just showing up and just doing whatever the fuck is happening. I can't even remember what the fuck we were doing during auditions. But I auditioned to be Bugsy. Didn't get it. Obviously got the black guy.
Damn.
But the way my teacher pitched the idea was that, listen, you're the only guy who can sing. We need someone to sing all the songs. So I sang all the songs. I sang the intro, Bugsy Malone. I sang Tomorrow.
Oh, that's the best one in this. Best one in
I
this.
sang Fat Sam's Grand Slam, Speakeasy. What else did I sing? So you wanna be a boxer in the golden ring.
Bad Guys.
No.
No?
No, I didn't sing it.
What? Okay.
I was like, no. Did I get to sing? There was another one. I helped with Bugsy Malone song, which I think is the worst song in all of it.
The Bugsy Malone.
Yeah. No.
The
His song that he's supposed to sing.
Oh yeah.
Where he's recruiting like the homeless or the orphans or whatever.
Down and Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah. So that's my history with this. I find this film charming.
Yeah.
However, as I was rewatching it, I was like, doesn't hold up well.
It's very charming. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, you have to look at it through that lens.
Yeah.
Because it came out in '76. It's directed by Alan Parker, who's sadly not with us anymore.
It was his first movie.
Yes, it was. And for people who do not know, Bugsy Malone is basically a film about a bunch of kids playing gangsters. And it's almost like through the... If you asked a kid, what do you think gangsters are like? This is what they would say.
Like classic Al Capone, Jimmy Cagney. Yeah, see, I'm gonna get you with my Tommy gun, see, all that shit.
But there's such a charm to the film. And yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I watched it just a few hours ago now, so it's really fresh in my mind. It was fun. I didn't really know anything about it. I think I'd heard some of the songs before, but I knew that like it was the gimmick of they're all kids. But I really didn't know the plot or what to expect going into the movie itself. And then as soon as the song started playing, I was like, hey, that's Paul Williams. Okay, I'm gonna have a good time. All the music is composed by Paul Williams, who is a songwriter, composer. He might still be the head of ASCAP, the like music licensing organization that deals with when you write a song and you register it for copyright and all that stuff and all the royalties and all that. He was the head of that for a long time. He wrote the music for various classic movies, such as The Phantom of the Paradise, which is this 70s movie. It's real weird, it's real trippy. It's not great, but it's a lot of fun. The songs are really good in it. He did the music for the 1970s Star is Born with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson. And closest to my heart, he did the music for a lot of the Muppets, mainly in my head, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And that's all him. And like Rainbow Connection. So he's a master, genius, fantastic songwriter. So yeah, as soon as I heard him start singing that opening song, I was like, oh, it's Paul Williams. Okay, here we go. This is gonna be at least fun to listen to.
Was it fun to listen to?
Yeah, it really was, right off the bat. I'm gonna talk about Paul Williams' music and the songs themselves, but my general thoughts on the movie. Yeah, it was good fun. The kids were all good. The plot was real silly. It's basically an arms race to get a hold of splurge guns, which are guns that shoot little balls of whipped cream at everyone.
You cannot watch this film seriously.
Oh, no. I looked up some stuff about like the reception and reviews for it, and a few people, including Pauline Kael, who's a very legendary film critic, really hated it and thought that it was just like this artless... what did Pauline Kael say about it? Here it is. She said, it was nothing but its god-awful idea, writing, we're not watching actors in a story, we're watching kids doing a stunt, and so we're primed to ooh and ah the way the audience does for a chimp on the Carson show. And
That's a pretentious thing to say.
It's so fucking pretentious. I see that and I'm like, yeah, it is kids in a stunt. It's a bunch of kids playing gangsters. That's the point. It's supposed to be just a bit of fun. It's not this grand masterpiece on the art of whatever.
It's like if you want to show your kid a gangster film, show them this.
So I looked it up. That's literally how this movie came about. Alan Parker was trying to break into movie directing. He was trying to break into directing in Hollywood. And he came up with a story because one time he was on a long road trip with his kids and just started telling them the stories of this legendary gangster, Bugsy Malone. And he was just telling them, making up a bunch of stuff that he remembered from gangster movies he saw as a kid. And then had the idea, I think one of his kids actually suggested to him, have the main characters of the movie be all kids. And he's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And here we have it. It's literally just a thing for kids that parents can also enjoy because it's this sort of parody homage. Yeah, it's good fun. All the kids were pretty good. The best, of course, is Jodie Foster.
Young Jodie Foster. Now, interesting thing, I don't know if you probably do.
Yeah.
This came out the same year as Taxi Driver.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting, isn't it?
She was 12 years old when this came out.
Now, I have to ask.
Yeah?
Because it is kids playing gangsters. But her performance in particular made me think, you know, all those stories you hear of kids being sexualized in Hollywood and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
Did that happen to her?
I don't know.
Because you'd say this role in Taxi Driver.
This role in this movie?
Because it's child friendly. It's different from because in Taxi
Yeah.
Driver she doesn't really have that many lines.
No.
But the pain that you feel is through when you're looking at her through the eyes of De Niro.
Yeah.
Where you kind of go, oh, that's a little kid having to do all this shit.
Yeah.
But now you watch her in this, and because they're all playing grown-ups,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. Like, I wish I was there at the time seeing, like, oh, that kid was in that, and this kid was in that. Like, how people perceive that.
Yeah, I don't know if Jodie Foster's ever spoken about her experience as a child in Hollywood in that way, as far as sexualization goes. Obviously, with Taxi Driver, it's part of the subject matter of the movie, so I imagine that they handle it well. I mean, Martin Scorsese doesn't seem like the type of person to be cavalier with that stuff.
No.
And in this movie,
She's fucking fantastic.
she's just brilliant. None of the kids are sexualized in this movie. It's that they're bringing the sort of attitude that the 1930s gangster dames had, and Jodie Foster's got her lounge number and everything. But it's just that sort of spunky, that bro, it's got spunk attitude. It's not anything.
But you know the background dances.
Yes.
Could that be done today?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was watching, I was like, I don't feel comfortable watching this now.
Yeah.
But I'm older. I'm not watching it as a kid anymore.
The thought did cross my mind of like...
I started thinking about who's the director called? X-Men director.
Bryan Singer?
Bryan Singer's film that you showed me.
Oh God, yeah.
It's not as bad as that. Nowhere near as bad as that.
No.
But I was just thinking, I don't know if that couldn't be done today, but this.
No, I mean that one's straight up predatory. I can't remember what even it's called, but that's the one with Ian McKellen playing an old Nazi and hiding in America, and this teenager finds him and sort of blackmails him into doing all these things, and they have this sort of emotionally abusive relationship with each other, and it's sort of verges on sexual. But obviously that was directed by Bryan Singer, who was a literal pedophile. And it was very uncomfortable to watch at times. No, thank God there's nothing like that in this. The line, I was thinking about what is the line, but I think most of any of that uncomfortableness that came through my head was just because I'm aware of how prevalent issues like that are.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Where you watch it and you go, I do wonder if
you'd have to. I think it could be done these days. Maybe it would have to be toned down a little bit. But the whole thing would just have to be, you would have to reassure the parents, you have to make sure it's a good, safe environment for everyone.
I think you need the parents to be there.
Just because everyone's hyper aware of the dangers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case. But the film starts off with Roxy Robinson getting wasted.
What is it? The opening line is Fat Sam narrating, and he says, "If it was raining brains, Roxy Robinson wouldn't even get wet." And then the kid gets whacked in the alley.
It's that tells you. I love that opening scene because it tells you what the film is.
Yeah.
And the fact that the guns just shoot pie.
Yeah. just whipped cream and.
It's just testament to it because it's nothing about it is serious. Nothing. It's all extremely child friendly. There wasn't anything that I sort of looked at as, and maybe this is another thing, is that can you judge this film how you would judge another film like Magnolia, for example, because it's a bunch of kids.
When it comes to critiquing movies and watching movies through a critical eye, I really strongly believe that you have to meet the movie where it's at.
I agree.
Because if you go into a Marvel movie or a friggin' Godzilla movie and you go out complaining that it was nothing but a bunch of CGI and punching each other and explosions, it's like, yes, that is the point. If you're complaining about that, you're watching it wrong. If you go into a Magnolia expecting an action movie, you're watching it wrong. You have to meet the movie where it's coming. You have to meet it halfway. So with this, I think all the kids in this movie are good, and some of them are doing a really, really great job at times. Sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, they're kids, and they're saying these lines that they don't even fully understand the meaning of. And so it's a little bit like, okay, yeah, no, if that kid was 10 years older, I would have had them do another take, but that's not what it's about. One thing I wrote down was that this movie really does prove that bad child actor performances are really a fault of the director, I think. I think you can get any kid to turn in a performance that works in the movie if you know how to work with them and if you actually try.
You know what? There might be something to that because I feel like kids are able to play.
Yeah.
And when you watch this film, you see all of them play to the max. And probably as you get older, you lose that sense of play. And it's about learning with our jobs. It's about learning how to bring that back and instill it, protect it, so that you don't allow the world to sort of cut at it.
Well, as you get older, you just become more self-aware and self-conscious.
Yeah, and these kids are not.
No, because they're in this imaginary world and they get to go on set and dress up as gangsters and have a bunch of fun all day.
And speaking of that, you know what? I wouldn't say it was the best performance, but it was my favorite performance, just Fat Sam.
Oh, he's so good.
He is so good, so funny.
Yeah. Just chewing the scenery. What's this kid's name? John Cassisi. Apparently Alan Parker found him. He went into a classroom in New York City and asked, who's the naughtiest kid in the classroom? Who's the class clown? And everyone in the class pointed at this kid and was like, it's him. And so we got the part. And he's chewing the scenery. He knows exactly what he's supposed to be doing. He's playing this wonderful mob boss, Fat Sam. He's doing the accent and everything. At one point he was like, you better knock that smile off your face, or I'll ram that smile right down your throat. And he like does the throat thing. He does poisonally. He does all these little quirks and tics that are just so perfect.
He's the running gag between him and one of his goons, Knuckles. Stop doing that, Knuckles!
But it's how I got my name, boss. Well, knock it off, or else change your name.
Oh my God, he is hilarious. The one, and probably doesn't get as much because her character, she doesn't necessarily pull the narrative forward, but she's there and she's sort of playing like the love interest, which is Blousy.
Blousy Brown.
But I love her song.
It's a really nice song. It's Paul Williams kills it.
What's it called again?
That song is Ordinary Fool. I think that's what it is. It's either that or I'm Feeling Fine. I can't remember which one it is. It's important to note that all the songs in this movie are sung by adults.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're
Dubbed over
lip
the kids.
syncing. The kids are lip syncing throughout.
Yeah.
Which kind of gets annoying, but
Yeah.
you get used to it.
I kind of liked it as like, because the whole world is this child world and it all operates on child logic, then suddenly when they burst out into song, the point in musicals where the emotions become too much for words and it becomes music, then they sort of, it's almost like the music elevates them into this other world where they really become the gangsters, you know, and the adult voices are coming through them. That's kind of how I felt watching it.
Because I agree with you, what you said earlier about Tomorrow being your favorite song.
Oh, it's so good.
That I feel like that's the best song. Tomorrow, as they say, another lonely day.
I believe so. I'm looking up the lyrics right now. The reason I think it's so great, and it's down to Paul Williams' writing, is because his songs are... He's like mainly a pop songwriter. That's sort of where he comes from.
Oh.
Not musical songwriting, which is why all the songs sort of have this wonderful 70s groove to them. He's a master of genre. He really understands musical genre. So he does like an old honky tonk. He does this sort of jazz thing. He does this ballad for Blousy. But they all have this 70s aesthetic and 70s sound to them. It's this bouncy sort of groove, and there's some synths in there and little electric guitars and stuff. And the way he writes lyrics is sort of from that pop song perspective, pop song angle, where it's not really a character song. It's not like a character I want song in the classical musical sense. It's a song that just works as its own song. If you put Tomorrow on the radio, you wouldn't need any extra context for it. You wouldn't need to know that it's Fizzy the janitor singing Tomorrow because he's always getting promised an audition tomorrow. It just sounds like a song about someone waiting for the tomorrow that never comes.
Which is the sad thing. And I actually think that for some of the songs, they elevate whatever the situation is at the point of the film. One of the, you talk about not knowing the context, and that one of the songs that sort of pops into my head sometimes is Tallulah's song.
Yeah.
My name is Tallulah. I give what I got. Oh, it's so sensual, and of which her character is supposed to be. Mm. But I don't know who sang it, but it was such a great piece at that point because it encompasses her character so much.
Yeah, it's the classic, the lounge singer star.
Oh yeah, like this is, and you walk around and you meet the guests right where they are, and you know, do they still have that today?
Like lounge acts?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few places that go for that thing, but not as much anymore. No. If they were, it would like specifically be to try to emulate that classic aesthetic. They don't really just have lounge singing anymore, as far as I'm aware.
See, that's another reason to go back to the 50s and 60s for the lounge acts.
Sure. Yeah.
Just so you could experience it. Like, imagine a woman singing, you enjoying your drink, and she just comes up to you and just looks at you in a way, and you go, oh, wow, you're so beautiful. This could happen, but it's probably not. You're just teasing me. And she goes off into an... Of course, so many men fell for that trap. Of course, those women were vixens. But it's such there's a seduction technique within it that I respect so much because I think it's really hard to do. I don't think to perform on that kind of level, many people can do.
No, it takes a lot of confidence. It takes
Confidence.
specific awareness of the fantasy that you're trying to sell.
Yes, confidence and awareness.
Yeah.
But Tallulah.
Oh, Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster gives the best performance, as you said before.
All the kids are great, but you can tell Jodie Foster is going to be a star. You can just tell. She has this clear intelligence about the situation that
Exactly.
is just, this kid is made to be a star.
And she has this relaxation in her performance, which none other of the kids have.
No, all the other kids, it is kind of like watching them and you do think these are kids and they're playing.
Yes.
But with Jodie Foster, she's fucking acting.
She breaks
knows.
past the barrier of like, oh, I'm acting, where she actually becomes the character. And at that age, that's fucking impressive.
12. Yeah.
Fucking impressive.
Apparently, Alan Parker was amazed by how professional and how wise beyond her years she was on set. She was like having conversations with the crew and the camera people, technical conversations that you have to have years of experience in the movie industry to really understand things on that level. And he would joke around that if he was ever out sick, then she should take over directing. And what do you know? She became a very successful director.
I think it's important to put in how all the characters interact.
Yeah.
So you've got Bugsy Malone, who's sort of like, he's well known around people, but he's not really involved with any particular gang.
No.
He's like a lone wolf type of character.
Yeah.
And he shows up, he's relaxing at Fat Sam's speakeasy. Then he meets this girl, Blousy, who is from out of town. And she's carrying a baseball bat. We laugh,
Yeah.
but we're guys.
No, I mean, it makes sense. It's, they play up the situation for some jokey lines, but yeah, a woman in the 1920s walking around New York City around all these gangsters, you're gonna want some protection.
But there was something during one of the scenes when Bugsy's trying to court Blousy, and he is convincing her to get something to eat. Their interaction was so well done, and how they played off each other, but also that thing, which I hate to say it, but how can I say this in a mature way? She was not interested until money was put into the picture.
Sure, he manages to get her fully attention by taking her out for dinner.
Okay, what does that say about the concept of in a specific situation where a guy is trying to get with the girl, she's not interested, but then he can provide something that she doesn't have, and now the prospect of the guy seems higher.
A woman like Blousy, and I'm not speaking as the child in
Listen
this
to
child
us.
word anymore.
Listen to us. Watching our words. Watching our words. Trying to be as specific as possible.
No, well, I think it's a woman like Blousy, in a sort of real world setting. She's moved to New York City to be a big star. It's the 1920s, so there's, misogyny rampant all around. She's got to watch out. Even today, there's misogyny all around. You got to watch out. You're probably getting asked out by guys left, right, and center.
Yeah, and most of them are gangsters.
Yeah, it's a rough and tumble area, and she knows what she's there for. She's there to be a star. She wants to break in New York City. She wants to make some money and move to Hollywood, and be a star. She knows her priorities. And she wants to get home, and she's brushing him off, but she doesn't have a lot of money, and he's offering dinner, And so he's like, she's in her mind, I think she's thinking, okay, well, I need some food tonight, and this guy's offering to take me out, so all right, I might as well entertain him, see where it goes. And then they start hanging out more after that.
And they actually have a great time.
Yeah.
They actually have a great time.
Yeah.
There is where she asks him, how are you going to pay for it? And he comes up with this elaborate idea of locking the woman who's behind the counter in the phone booth, and they run off. And there was something so, I don't know, like charming about that. Like you see how streetwise Bugsy is.
Everyone says that he's smart. At one point, Fat Sam, that he's got brains. He's got more than just nothing going on.
He's clued on.
Yeah.
He's not and he's got this carefree attitude towards everything. Like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Which goes back to what we were saying the other day with Cabaret, maybe that American thing of like, oh yeah, it's gonna work out. But he gets entangled with Fat Sam and Dandy Dan.
Dandy Dan, the rival gangster moving in.
Who had the smallest of mustaches.
Oh my! So many kids in this movie have these little mustaches drawn on or glued onto their face or whatever, and it is hilarious.
What did you think of Dandy Dan as a rival?
I loved the kid playing him. He was a stone cold shark. He had these like just killer eyes. He could just look at you and you're like, oh, you don't want to fuck with this kid. And he's rich. He lives outside the city in this big mansion. He's got an English butler who's also a kid with a fake mustache. It was just so many times in this movie. It's just a kid doing something very adult and very, gangstery noir type thing, and just that situation I constantly found funny. It's
Did you ever see Little Rascals?
Oh yeah.
Because I started thinking about Little Rascals as I was watching this. Because I don't know. They didn't have gangsters in Little Rascals.
No, they were
kids.
They were kids being kids, but they were getting up into hijinks and shenanigans and all that.
And it was in black and white.
Yeah, the originals.
Yeah, and this film is in black and white as well. And
no, it's not.
Oh.
No, it's not.
The quality that I was watching must have been bad then.
Interesting. Yeah, no, this movie's in color.
Why did I think this film was in black and white?
I don't know. Maybe the noir thing put you in that headspace.
Because right now when we're talking about Dandy Dan, I was thinking about the scene when they're going off to Fat Sam's to kill him off.
Yeah.
And the exterior, but I don't know why I was thinking it was black and white. The image is black and white in my head.
Interesting.
Even now, I can't remember what color was in the scene.
That's really interesting.
Why is that?
I don't. Some things, especially when people, I think, have a connection to it in childhood or just have a certain connection to it, the movie's gonna have that effect and or TV shows. I had a friend who really liked How I Met Your Mother, and they were trying to get me to watch it, and I said, yeah, I might get around to it. I don't know, it's hard for me to get into sitcoms with a laugh track. And they were like, how do you know it doesn't have a laugh track? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it does. And they're like, I no, it doesn't. I don't remember it having a laugh track at all. And I had to like pull up a clip on YouTube and show it's got a laugh track. It's filmed on sets. It's not like filmed in front of a live studio audience. It does have a laugh track.
Yeah, even now, I love How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
But now I was questioning myself, like, does it have a laugh track?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. What the fuck?
Sometimes things just have that effect where they mess with your brain and put you in such a headspace that you forget what you're watching.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, the film is in color.
It is?
The film is in color.
It opens
but
up.
for whatever reason, I think of it in black and white.
Huh.
That's quite interesting.
I mean, it's possible that you saw a black and white scan of it at some point.
But the reason I'm thinking of it is because, again, it puts me back into that place of like 1920s. When I think of the 1920s,
yeah.
I think black and white, and I just, for whatever reason, it's just that world. Even though the world wasn't black and white, obviously, but I'm just in that space where I'm like, this film, set in the 1920s, it's in black and white. fuck. Fuck. But I don't think about that with slave films or anything like that. Like 12 Years a Slave.
Oh,
Raised
sure.
in Color.
Sure.
It's quite interesting. But one of the you've got Blousy and Bugsy. So you've got Tallulah,
Yeah.
who's trying to get in between Blousy and her man.
Yes.
Which
Trying to stir shit up.
she doesn't try that hard.
No, she and Bugsy have clearly had this past thing, and so she's just kind of like trying to reel him back in. But he's like, no, I got Blousy now. I'm looking after Blousy.
I don't know if that's a mature thing that sort of happens between them, or if it's just a case of like Tallulah feels jealous when she sees Bugsy getting this attention off of Blousy, and it's like, no you don't, I do. And then when she doesn't get that attention from him, she's like, oh fuck, okay, let me go back to my fatty.
It's like that part of their relationship is sort of a mature thing. It's that thing you see in old gangster movies of, you know, the femme fatale and the PI and stuff like that. But it's a very childish impulse. Even if it's a more mature angle at relationships, it's a very childish impulse that comes from, I think. Which makes them, being kids, so sort of ironically charming in it.
Which thankfully doesn't work. Did you think that Bugsy was a good guy?
Better than, I mean, most of the other guys in the movie who are just straight up gangsters. He locks a woman in a phone booth to get out of paying for dinner.
Yeah, but she's gonna get out.
Yeah, she's gonna get out, but still, he ordered like 15 things off the menu. She was like, so 8 banana sundaes and 3 below whatever shakes and stuff. And it only costs $4.85, which I found really funny.
And what I found funny is that they ate a bunch of ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, of course kids are gonna eat a bunch of ice cream when they decide to go out and eat. They're not gonna eat something healthy or like, unless it was like pizza. But
Yeah, no, it's all child logic. And all the drinks throughout the movie are like sodas and lemonade and all those little details are cute.
see, one of the reasons I picked this is because when you've got Fat Sam's Speakeasy,
Yeah.
it really, when I was watching Cabaret, I was thinking of that as well, because it goes back to that thing of like those places don't necessarily exist anymore,
Yeah.
where people just go and enjoy some jazz, and you've got an artist at the top, you know, just entertaining you throughout the evening, and it's classy, you're all dressed up. Have we lost our culture?
No, it's evolved in different places. Capitalism has certainly commodified our culture. Like, I've been to a few jazz clubs, but
I've been to a jazz bar, but it hasn't been like, I think the whole thing, like, you're dressing up to go.
yeah, it's not like you dress up, you rock up, you get a table, and you can chat with your friends the whole night while
Yeah.
a sort of casual, easy listening lounge act plays. When I've gone to the jazz clubs, it's you have to buy a drink as the ticket or something like that. And at least when I'm there, I want to actually watch the jazz because it's a real fucking intense performance. Yeah, these sort of casual spaces don't exist as much anymore because yeah, they've been monetized to hell, I think.
Because I would have loved, I don't know why, I've never been to one, but I would have loved to be in that type of space. Just, I sort of feel like it's a, not necessarily like a refined, sophisticated lifestyle, but like something that everyone knows your name. You walk in, bar staff knows your name, the guard knows your name, the artist knows your name. Like, you've got regulars on this table, regulars on that table, they know your name. Like, it's just a community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a community of people just there to enjoy a good time.
Can have some laughs, make some deals, you know.
Like Don Rickles performing.
Yeah.
That might be something. But the Grand Slam. Grand Slam? Why did I say Grand Slam? No.
I don't know.
The Speakeasy.
Yeah.
the one of the black guys, when he's singing Fat Sam's Grand Slams.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, there it
Grand
is.
Slam, speak easy.
That was actually one of my favorite songs to perform because it's so lively.
Yeah.
And I had the dances as well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like around the piano, and I was pretending to play piano. I can't play piano, but I was pretending like I did. And it was there's something about that vibe, like the what did you say before about Paul Williams? His music,
Groove.
the groove of it. That once you get into it, it's like, oh, it's a party now. Like there's a vibe, there's an energy within it, which that guy doesn't have any lines, but that song is an absolute banger. It's a staple. Like if you owned a place and your place has a song.
I'm not sure how often that happened, but I would absolutely want it.
It's like a theme song for your place.
The night always opens. It's just a short little 2 minutes. Theme song of the night.
So you know exactly where you are, and everyone sings along. And yeah. What was the character called? Did they say?
On the piano?
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever gets a name.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Fuck. There was a moment when because they go to the laundrette, and it's a lot of Asians in the laundrette.
I did write it down that even in a child world, there's still some racism. They've got a Chinese sweatshop.
But he had a Chinese name.
Yeah, it was
which I was like, okay.
Fushin something.
I'll let it go. It was when they got to the boxing.
Yeah.
Where I saw a lot of black people. I was like, oh, this is where they've been. The boxers.
Yeah.
But they've got some white people boxing as well.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's pretty period accurate, so it's not the most diverse movie, and you know, everyone's got their space. But yeah, there's some white folks around the boxing. Dandy Dan's got an Asian kid in his gang. Not a whole lot else than that.
Fat Sam doesn't have much diversity.
No, he's got Fizzy
Oh
the
no,
janitor.
he's got a black kid.
Fizzy the janitor, yeah.
No.
Oh.
In his goons that gets killed.
Yeah.
When they're singing what was that? What was the song in the streets?
Bad Guys.
Yes, Bad Guys.
We could be whatever we want it to be.
Which is a fun song.
Oh, it's great.
As I was watching it, I was thinking about the choreography that the kids were doing and just wondering how long it took, but also were the kids already capable of doing it, or did they have to learn?
They probably got theater kids for it, because their choreography was great. The kids dancing is really great in this movie.
The dances,
yeah,
they were really good, because sometimes I like watching someone mess up. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
I'm looking for who's the one who messes up, who's out of sync,
who's
out of
link.
time, which is a bad thing, because if I'm ever in that situation, I'm like, don't mess up, don't mess up. Because I know someone in the audience is like me and is looking for the person who's going to mess up. I'm not interested in it being done well.
No.
I'm more impressed if no one messes up.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's Fizzy.
Tomorrow's the best song in the movie, and I mean, he doesn't sing it, but he's lip syncing along, and he's just nailing it. Those high notes.
There's something about the character, and it goes back to sort of the themes that have been. It was in Cabaret last week, and it's in a lot here, where you've got the character who wants to achieve something, but something's in the way, which I guess is the universal thing about life. But there was him always going to Fat Sam, always asking for you to get his shot.
Yeah.
I sort of felt as if leave.
Yeah.
which I didn't feel when I watched it as a kid.
Mhm.
Because as a kid, I was quite sympathetic, but now I'm like, leave. And then it's quite interesting to change your point of view where I'm like, yeah, just leave.
Yeah.
You don't. But I don't know, him wanting to be as good as Fred Astaire, who is white, by the way, isn't he?
Yeah.
I used to think he was black.
Huh.
When I watched this, I was like, oh, he wants to be like a black dancer. Because I thought black people were the only ones who danced.
Huh.
But it turns out it's a famous white dancer.
Yeah.
Who did jazz, tap.
All sorts of stuff. What other movies? He was in American in Paris and On the Town. Like one of the classic movie musical stars. Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Those two were, they did a few movies together.
Ginger Rogers.
Ginger Rogers.
Is that a guy?
That's a woman.
Oh, okay.
Like Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor. You ever seen Singing in the Rain?
No,
Ooh,
I haven't.
maybe that'll be next week's. All right, because that's a classic. Fred Astaire movies.
But the thing about Fizzy is he never gets a shot.
No.
Even towards the end of the film, he never gets a shot. And I didn't like how there was certain storylines, and maybe it's because of the runtime, that were introduced, but they never sort of went any further.
Yeah.
Like Fizzy's storyline didn't go any further.
A lot of plot lines just sort of went, yeah.
And it was like one thing to the next, to
Yeah.
the next, to the next.
Again, like Leroy Smith, the boxing thing comes out of nowhere and doesn't go anywhere. It's just never brought up again. He saves Bugsy from some muggers, and then they don't even utilize his punching skills in the big when they're trying to steal the guns from everyone else.
No, they don't.
No.
I thought that's what they were gonna do, even though I've seen it before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, when I use them, but they don't get it. Of which I guess it kind of makes sense because the factory has a bunch of goons,
Yeah.
so it's probably too many for him to handle. But Leroy Smith just doesn't. Besides saving Bugsy, doesn't really serve the narrative that much.
No. Fun little character, but
Doesn't say much, as well.
no. He says no mostly.
Yeah, I wonder if I wonder if they cast him and they realized, oh, he can't really talk as much.
I don't know. I imagine it was probably written that way. Alan Parker mostly directed commercials before he directed this movie. And he said somewhere that this movie was a very pragmatic exercise to break into the movie industry.
Oh.
He wasn't like trying to make this fantastic masterpiece musical about kids in this gangster world. He was like, I've got a fun idea. Let's follow through with this fun idea. Let's have some jokes, have some laughs, have some fun little tunes, and it'll be a smash hit. And it was in the UK. It wasn't a smash hit everywhere else. But yeah, a few other things in the movie go basically nowhere. The whole police captain, he shows up like twice and then never heard from again after he gets covered in
that
plaster.
was another plot point that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Huh. Of which, this is me putting logic into a kid's film.
Yeah.
I was like, that plaster
Yeah.
shouldn't have covered his whole body like that.
No.
But it's kids, so
Yeah.
I'll let it go.
Cartoon shenanigans.
There's a lot of cartoon shenanigans in this,
Yeah.
which adds to the charm of the film. It's really. Would you show your kids this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You would.
Yeah.
Because when we said earlier that you can show this to your kids. I do mean that, but I think I would show my kids just like a proper gangster film.
I would show them that too, yeah.
And then be like, yeah, there's also this.
But I would, because they have to be a little bit aware of gangster tropes to understand what's being parodied.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a little like, okay, so there's a bunch of kids and they're getting pie thrown in their faces, and that's bad. Okay.
Which is the big thing throughout the film of like, there's a big surge in the splurge guns.
Yeah.
That everyone's trying to get. Well, Dandy Dan has somehow acquired these guns, and no one else has them. So Fat Sam has to somehow figure out a way to get some, which is how Bugsy Malone comes into it and is trying to steal a bunch of them. I was trying to work out how the mechanism of the gun works to shoot the pie out.
Yeah.
I didn't figure it out.
You see them assembling it at one point. It's like an old Tommy gun, so you have to like take it out and screw it together and screw on the barrel and stuff.
What's this called? The thing that held the pie?
The drum.
Okay. But it wouldn't fit through the hole.
No. I don't think you're supposed to think about it this much.
This is the problem. I shouldn't be thinking that hard.
Apparently the props, they tried to use like sort of potato gun, spud gun things to shoot cream or like little wax balls covered in cream. Apparently those hurt when they shot the kids with them. So instead they decided to just shoot the guns shooting from one angle. They would shoot just ping pong balls out of the barrel. And then they would cut to a different angle of the kids getting hit with blobs of cream. So, movie magic.
That's a smart solution. Because towards the end of the film, it's a big food fight.
Yeah.
With all of them. Of which, yeah, you know what? Let them have a food fight. It was gonna that's the equivalent of a bloodbath for kids.
I did write down, I was thinking about opening, when you asked for what I thought about the movie, I was thinking about opening with this movie is a tragic tale of violence begetting senseless violence, ending in a harrowing massacre from which there are no survivors, because there are none. Even Fizzy hides away, and just as he peeks out, gets pied right in the face.
Oh my God.
It's real tragic.
Everyone dies.
Everyone dies. I was thinking, like, is this movie trying to have any sort of message at all? Because it all ends with them singing bad guys again, but instead it's good guys, and it's why can't we all be friends, and they all end up shaking their hands and dancing together. So I was thinking, is this movie no, I'm thinking about it too hard. There's not, and then they all got hit everyone got shot up with pies, and everyone dies, and that's what happens in a gang war. I don't think they were thinking that hard about it.
No.
You can take it from this movie, but I don't think they were thinking that way.
I think that's the biggest takeaway from this film. Don't think too much about it.
Yeah.
Even we've thought too much about it.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't have.
It's fun, though.
It's fun. It's a fun little film that somehow got so much success over here than in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Which I wonder if people in the States looked at it and were like, it's just a bunch of kids. And just disregarded it without giving it a chance. Whereas here, maybe because, I don't know, it's a British director.
Yeah. I'm also interested about what the sort of zeitgeist was at the time. How many gangster movies got shown over here in the 70s for kids growing up then? Because in America, by the 70s, it was not much gangster stuff anymore. It was cowboys and Clint Eastwood, and Star Wars was on the horizon. So I'm not sure how much gangsters were really in kids' minds in America.
When did gangsters enter your mind?
From a young age, I was aware of like Al Capone and all that stuff, but my dad showed me classic movies, and so I got exposure to some classic gangster movies fairly young. So I think I had more of an awareness than other kids my age. Like I'm not sure how many other kids my age could really tell you anything about Al Capone other than Al Capone was a gangster. But like I knew that they got him for taxes when I was like 7 or something.
Yeah, I wonder what age I was when gangsters sort of entered my zeitgeist.
Yeah.
I don't know if kids today would, well, they'll know about gangsters, but Al Capone specifically.
Yeah.
They might know Al Pacino.
Maybe, yeah.
From Scarface. because of a bunch of memes.
That's the thing. How many levels of separation are these days? Because I definitely got some exposure to gangster things from like cartoons as stuff as a kid.
Yes.
Cartoons parodying gangster things, but that's one level of separation. So a cartoon these days doing a parody of Scarface, which is a send-up of gangster movies made in the 70s about gangster movies from the 30s. Like, how many levels of separation are there before it becomes nonsense, before the kids don't even realize what it's a reference to anymore?
Yeah, that is interesting. And we haven't had... What was the last gangster film that we had? Great gangster film.
God, I don't know. Didn't Leo play Al Capone a while ago? No. No, he played Herbert Hoover.
No, Tom Hardy played Al Capone.
Tom Hardy played Al Capone.
But I wouldn't say the film had a big...
It wasn't really a gangster movie. It was a
and he was
biopic.
dying, shitting himself.
Which is true. Al Capone died of syphilis.
We haven't had many gangster films lately.
No, not really. It's kind of a dead genre these days.
Fuck. Oh, that's sad.
I mean, the closest thing I can think of that's like really a noir is The Nice Guys, and that's almost 10 years ago, and that's set in the 70s. That's another the layers of separation. Shane Black sending up noir things in this 70s Hollywood setting. I don't know.
Trying to think, Killers of the Flower Moon.
I wouldn't even say that's a gangster, though.
Yeah, but
they are gangsters.
Indirectly gangsters.
I wouldn't say it's a gangster movie.
Gangster adjacent.
God.
Fuck, it's this hard. Yeah. Jesus.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up gangster movies.
So superheroes have really taken over. I would love to see... I want another film. A bunch of kids. Don't want them to do any real acting. No. I want them to play. I want them... The same concept.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the popular genre is right now. Superheroes? A kid's idea of what a superhero is?
Possibly. I'm thinking about that, and I'm almost certain that that's been done on the Disney Channel or something. It's like Sky High and things like that. And that was from we were kids.
Sky High!
That's like 20 years ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut. I loved Sky High when I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not... do you have anything else for Bugsy?
Oh yeah. I got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Let's get into it.
What's happened? Talked about Jodie Foster. Talked about Paul Williams' music. Little Scotty Baio playing Bugsy Malone. Went on to be in Happy Days, replacing...
Never seen it.
No? I've only seen a few episodes. Happy Days is...
Is that theme song? What is it?
It's Happy Days, right?
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
That's it.
Is it? Never seen it.
Yeah, Happy Days. It's where you get Fonzie, Henry Winkler.
Oh.
It's back when Henry Winkler was the epitome of cool, before he turned into the schlubby old comedy guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy Days spawned, Fonzie, one of Ron Howard's early things when he was still acting as a child actor. And then Henry Winkler left, Fonzie left the show, and they replaced him with Scott Baio, playing, I can't remember his fucking name. A little bit of that context is good if you ever want to watch Arrested Development, because there's tons of references to Happy Days. At one point, Henry Winkler is the lawyer, and they fire him from the case, and they bring in Scott Baio playing blah blah blah, the lawyer blah 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 who runs the blah 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 blog, and that's a low blow blah blah, and he comes in and he says, "Don't worry, it's not the first time I've had to replace Henry Winkler." And Ron Howard is the narrator and does so many references, layers deep.
Okay, Happy Days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sort of one of the classic tentpole American sitcoms. I've only ever seen a couple episodes of it.
Yeah, because
It's where jumping the shark comes from.
the expression.
The expression jumping the shark, because jumping the shark, for context, meaning the point at which a show or movie loses all suspension of disbelief. It becomes ridiculous. Fonzie literally rides a motorcycle over a shark through a ring of fire in it. Or maybe there's not a ring of fire.
What is the show?
I don't know, man. It was the 70s.
70s was is that cocaine? Is that the cocaine era, or was that the 80s?
This is when cocaine was getting in there. Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
80s was crack.
Oh.
It's the next evolution of cocaine.
So a bunch of kids were doing cocaine, is what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know how many kids were doing
I
cocaine.
mean, long hours. Gotta do some. Some of these kids are teens.
In Bugsy Malone?
You can tell they're teens.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Some of those mustaches might have been only slightly fake. But those are mostly the background players. They don't really have any speaking lines.
Yeah, they could have brought some cocaine. Cocaine.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I don't know what was going on these sets.
But you don't see any of the kids doing cocaine. In terms of like, they didn't imagine, what's a kid's version of a gangster doing cocaine?
No, they didn't think that far.
Yeah, they didn't think that far, whereas I would have.
That'd be a slightly edgier comedy.
Yeah, but what does that look like from a kid's imagination?
Doing a bunch of candy. I mean, I did know kids that would like snort pixie sticks, and every other,
Is that sherbet for you guys?
No, pixie sticks. I don't know. Maybe we're talking about this. Pixie sticks. It was like just a tube of powdered.
Yeah, and you dip into it with the sweet stick.
The fun dip stick. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
my God, so much shit we've ingested.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was delicious. Sickening, but
Diabetes. Don't know why we
child cocaine. That's what we were talking about.
Chow cocaine. Yeah, chow cocaine.
The farthest they take it is drinks are, like I said, all sodas and lemonades and stuff.
Yeah, they don't really push the boundaries of anything that the kids do.
No.
But there is a lot of violence for child friendly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of implied violence.
A lot of characters, quote unquote, die. And they you know, it's treated in the world like, oh God, they got Roxy. What happened? At one point they get Knuckles.
Oh yeah, they get Knuckles.
Knuckles. He's testing out a makeshift replication of the splurge gun. And he's like winding it up and getting ready to shoot. And Fat Sam's like, all right, I'm gonna stand over here. Now you shoot. Get ready and fire. And then the thing explodes. And it covers Knuckles in pie. And Fat Sam's like, Knuckles, oh no, Miss Gabucci, and he's playing a bunch of stuff in Italian, and he's like, oh no, Knuckles, and he's running around the warehouse.
Do you know why? That was so funny.
It's so funny, yeah.
He was abusing him throughout the film, and then when he dies, he's so pathetic.
It's the only one he's got left.
And there's nobody else left. And he's left alone. And the scene when the other goons get pied,
yeah,
and he has to pretend like he's got protection in his office, and he's got the
cardboard
cutouts of the goons standing out.
Yeah,
it's like, first of all, I thought it was a great idea, because when I saw it, I was like, where did they come from? Then when you see the comment, and they don't even address it. There's like one moment where like Knuckles goes and plays around with it, but they don't really address that there's a cardboard cutout of like a bunch of gangsters. Like, yeah, I need protection.
It's such a genius gag.
Fat Sam, he's clearly an inspiration on Al Capone.
Yeah,
and he is savvy, but he is so outplayed by Dandy Dan throughout the film. And he only, well, considering that everyone dies at the end, you could say he fails in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they steal all the splurge guns and get ready to counterattack Dandy Dan's assault on the speakeasy. But yeah, no, they all got. It's just a massacre. It might even have been sort of a reference to the St. Valentine's Day massacre, where a bunch of mobsters shot each other and died.
I think we need to do a body count of how many people died, because Bugsy Malone might have the highest body count, higher than John Wick.
I don't know. John Wick goes through a lot of people, but
No, but a lot of people die.
there's like 100 kids in that speakeasy at least.
At least. And that's not even counting all the people who died throughout.
Yeah. And it's the innocents, too. They don't spare anyone. Women, children,
Yeah, there are children.
exclusively children.
Yeah, it's all children. It's child abuse.
Yeah.
It's actually child abuse. What was he trying to say about children? Kill them all?
That they're violent. It's basically Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
What happened to all the adults? I went a bit like cracked.com thinking about it too far. At one point, when Bugsy is taking Blousy out for dinner towards the beginning, and they're in the diner, Bugsy's sort of bigging himself up, and he says, "I could have been a contender." He does a reference to On the Waterfront,
Yeah.
a movie which came out after the time in which this movie is supposedly set, because this is in the 20s with speakeasies and silent films and all that. So that must mean that this is some sort of terrifying apocalypse where all the adults have died and there's only children remaining, and they have taken over society, and for some reason they've decided to adopt 1920s aesthetics, probably because they don't know how to work anything made past the 20s. It's all too complicated. So I think this is a terrifying future where all adults are completely gone. All the cars are just bicycles with cars attached to them.
Yeah, that was... It reminded me of the Flintstones.
Yeah, but they still make engine sounds, which is really funny. But
Yeah, I would have... It's funny because when I first saw it, I was like, there's nothing real in this world.
no, it's complete child logic. At one point, Fat Sam, they're trying to get a driver, and Fat Sam's like, "All right, you're gonna drive me." And Knuckles is like, "But boss, I can't drive."
Bugsy can.
Bugsy can. It's like, it's a bicycle car. You
Yeah.
don't need to know how to drive.
You know what? I'm not even gonna hate, because I'm the exact same. I wouldn't know how to pedal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to... I mean, I learned, but I don't know if
Yeah.
I still have it.
In a car like that, where you don't have to balance, it's probably a bit easier to get a hold of. But
Yeah, but it's a lot of... I don't know if you can feel the weight as you pedal it.
oh yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been easy. They don't. This whole car chase sequence.
Oh, the car chase sequence.
Yeah.
I found it hilarious.
It's great.
And how they managed to hide Dandy Dan's goons in the forest, and Fat Sam and Bugsy not even realize that there were goons in the forest.
Yep.
But when Bugsy runs off and the goons follow him, but Bugsy comes back, I just didn't understand the trajectory of that sequence.
Yeah, no, how did he distract them?
Yeah.
And also get around them.
Yeah,
While
and
distracting.
come back quicker than any of them when they were closer to the location than he was.
Yeah.
And again, too much logic. Don't think about this film that hard. Do not think about this film that hard.
No. But it's kind of fun too.
Yes. You know what? What's your wildest theory? Is that it?
It's probably the child apocalypse, yeah.
Child apocalypse.
That's the farthest I was able to take it.
Because
Though I think the child apocalypse extends to all species too, because when they're at Dandy Dan's estate and they're riding the horses, it's a child-sized horse.
Oh yeah.
It's like a small mini horse that it's the right heights that would look normal for an adult with an adult-sized horse, but it's a mini horse. So all the adult horses are gone too.
I don't know if you've ever read. There's a series of books called Gone.
No.
It's basically like X-Men meets Lord of the Flies, where the adults disappear,
Yeah.
and all the kids are left to fend for themselves. But the kids have powers, but they don't. At a certain age, they all disappear.
Oh, okay.
So at a certain age, I think it's like 15.
Whoa.
Once you turn 15, you disappear.
Yeah.
But Blousy wanting to be a star reminded me of Cabaret,
Yep.
which is why do so many people want to be stars?
Because it's glamorous and everyone knows your name. And
When everybody knows your name. Is that Happy Days too?
no, that's Cheers.
Oh, okay.
Different sitcom universe. Yeah, I mean, why do we want to be a star?
When
We're
you
actors.
were 12, did you want to be a star?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I mean, I
Oh, you
was
were
already
a
acting
child.
by then. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Oh my god, you're a little psychopath, ain't you?
Probably. I mean, I said episode 1, I need to be in therapy, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, because at that age, I guess you don't really know much, do you?
No.
You just look at the glamour and you think, oh yeah, that must be what a great life
Yeah.
looks like, without actually knowing the nuance of what comes along with all of that. But she doesn't really get the opportunity to do that. Even when she gets a job at the Speakeasy, she's not the main person.
No, she auditions with the song, that great song. But as far as I know, she doesn't get a chance to perform it.
No, she doesn't.
I didn't even see her in the backup dancers for Tallulah's song.
I
So-
think she sang. No. Wasn't she one of the
Is she one of
two singers?
The backup singers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Which I don't. Yeah, I guess everyone sort of had one song and they were out.
Yeah.
Even did Fat Sam have a song?
No, Fat Sam did not have a song.
So he didn't sing. Dandy Dan didn't sing.
No.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Fat Sam's goons sing Bad Guys. And that's it. Some of them sing in Down and Out. Can we talk about Down and Out? You wanted to talk about it earlier. You said it was the worst song in the movie.
Yeah.
It's the second last song. It's right towards the end when Bugsy's recruiting an army of like homeless men to fight the goons.
Yeah. They're still kids, but homeless.
Yeah, still kids.
Older kids.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Do you want to know why I didn't like it?
Sure.
Zero stage presence.
Yeah, Scott Baio is good at playing the Bugsy as just the Bugsy archetype, but he's not really a musical performer.
No, but you wouldn't say that about Jodie Foster.
No.
But she nailed the lip sync. Oh, you
Yeah.
have to lip sync.
It's lip syncing with the style of being in a musical, and
Yeah.
Scotty Baio just didn't quite have that.
But, okay, so the song is basically to motivate these guys to join up with them.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel motivated.
It's not a great song. It's like a weird bum 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 sort of over and over
You
again.
don't have to something.
Yeah. All the lyric, it's also just shaming them. It's like, come on guys, get off your asses. It's your fault your life's in the gutter. You need to have some pride. You need to have some motivation.
I mean, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. But it's still the same sentiment of like, get off your ass, do something.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Which,
But it wasn't inspiring. It was just shaming.
yeah, none of it was inspiring. The whole scene sort of flipped my head because I was like, they're homeless, but they're eating right now.
Yeah, it's like
They'd prepared a meal for all these people.
a shelter.
Was it a shelter? So you just walked into a shelter and just recruited everybody.
Yeah, recruited a
Too much logic.
homeless child army. That they don't actually end up fighting the guys. That job could have been done with 2 people.
Oh my
the plan.
god. Do not even get me started. You didn't need that many people. You just need the little guy.
You need 3 people. So the plan is you distract Dandy Dan's goons, get them to run into this building, and then you lock them on both sides. So that's one person on one side of the building, one person
Leroy.
on the other side, and
Bugsy.
Leroy, Bugsy, and Babyface.
Yeah.
That's all you need. I do want to talk about Babyface because he's the punchline to this bit of Bugsy saying, get Babyface, and it's the kids saying it all down this line, like, you know, like, get Babyface, get Babyface, get Babyface, and all turn to each other. And it goes on for a long time. There's a lot of kids in that line. And I'm like, okay, where's this? This is going on for longer than this bit should go on. But then it gets to Babyface, and the kid's hilarious.
He's like, oh wait, I'm Babyface.
Get Babyface. He's like got this deadpan, perfect timing. Get Babyface, get Babyface. And he gets me, get Babyface. Wait, I'm Babyface. What am I saying? Right, I gotta have courage.
But the thing that messed it up for me was right afterwards, Bugsy just shouts over everybody.
Yeah. Get him, boys.
It's like, so why did you whisper before? If you could shout along the line, why did you whisper? Again, too much logic.
Too much logic.
Too much logic
Too
to
much
kid
logic.
film. But you ever think when you look at kids,
Yeah.
like if you're on the bus or you're in a public place and you see like a little kid, someone in their teens, an adult, and like a really old person, and you sort of think you're gonna end up there,
Sure.
and you have been there. And then there's this whole spectrum that you go through if you're lucky. But I was looking at these kids and I'm like, all of them are old.
All of them are old now. Yeah.
Who's dead? I feel like somebody's
I'm
dead.
sure some of them are dead. I don't know anyone specific, but
Yeah, someone's dead. That's
they're in their 50s, coming into their 60s now.
oh, they must be in their 60s.
Yeah, they're not old. I mean, how old's Jodie Foster?
Jodie's in her 60s.
She was the oldest of the principal cast.
Oh, okay.
Born in 62, so she's how old is it? 62. She's 62 now.
Ah.
Is that right?
62, 63, depending on when her birthday is.
No, yeah, 62. No. Scott Baio kept acting. He doesn't act much anymore because apparently he's very hard to work with, and he's like a big Trump supporter now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ah, let's go.
I mean, aside from the Trump supporting thing, apparently he's just an asshole.
Because you gave him a leading role when he was 12 years old,
Yeah.
and then he just expected that.
Apparently, I'm not saying he's always been an asshole or he was an asshole as a child, but apparently when he was auditioning,
Oh wow, you're gonna go against 12-year-old Scott Baio?
well, it's in the Wikipedia page, and that's, you know, my deep research that I did. When he auditioned for the movie, he went into he didn't want to do the audition. He was thinking about quitting acting because he just wanted to play with his friends after school and stuff. He didn't want to keep driving into New York City, taking hours driving to New York City, do these auditions, drive home.
That makes sense.
But he couldn't do it with his friends that day because it was raining. So he was like, all right, I got an audition. I'll go in and do it. And he had the script, and he didn't really get it, and he didn't know who this director was. And the director, Alan Parker's British, and apparently he said, I didn't even know what British was when I was 12. So I went in and I did the lines and I didn't get it, and it was this weird guy, and he threw the script on the floor and stormed out of the room. And that's when Alan Parker was like, all right, this kid's Bugsy. But even in his audition as a 12-year-old, he was a little diva.
How did he cast this?
All over the place. He heard about Jodie Foster, who was about to go into filming for Taxi Driver. He'd seen her in some other movie and was like, yeah, we need this kid. The girl who played Blasey Brown, I don't think ever acted again. So this was really, and you know, like Fat Sam, he just picked him out of a classroom in New York somewhere. So
Yeah.
he was really just slapping it together.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because I think a lot of kids don't really want to spend hours on set and
Yeah, no.
do this thing.
A lot of kids are pushed into it by their parents.
So you can't really blame them if they're like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
It has to be a specific type of kid to sort of stick to it and keep going?
One of those kids was Babyface himself, Dexter Fletcher. If that name sounds familiar at all, it's because he directed Rocket Man, and he took over directing Bohemian Rhapsody from Bryan Singer.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Rocket Man is a fantastic movie. So, like, he made it. He kept going and he made it.
Oh my god.
I know, right? Well, wait a minute. I'm Babyface. What am I saying?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. See, I would love to meet them and just hear their stories about like what it was like, especially at that age.
Apparently they did a documentary in like the 90s or early 2000s catching up with some of the kids. Yeah.
There used to be a guy over here who would do like a documentary series where he would...
7 Up.
Is that what it was called?
Where like every 7 years check in with these kids.
No.
No? Different one?
No, it was a different one. He would find like old cast members and like try to bring them together. And this was before Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he tried to get the Star Wars cast together. Couldn't get Harrison Ford. Couldn't get Mark Hamill. He got the actor who played C-3PO.
Anthony Daniels. Yeah.
Got him. If I'm remembering correctly, got
Warwick Davis? What?
No, R2-D2.
Not Warwick Davis. I can't remember who played R2-D2.
Yeah.
Warwick Davis was an Ewok. For context, Tawana did a
No, don't say what I did, because I couldn't remember the correct term.
Yeah. Little person.
Oh, yeah. And Carrie
Carrie
Fisher.
Fisher, yeah.
Yeah. And he managed to get those, but it was it was, I think it must be on YouTube, but I'm forgetting the name of it now. And I'm forgetting the comedian who did it. And he did a bunch with, but it was so hard because sort of bringing people who might not like each other, and it'll be interesting to see if these guys liked each other.
Yeah.
Because at that point, 12-year-olds, egos all over the place, isn't it? You don't have any control over it.
No.
You just sort of, your emotions are just going wall to wall. But yeah, you got anything else?
What else is there? I just wrote down a bunch of the bits that made me laugh. The mini horse. The kid directors in the audition sequence when Blousy's trying to audition for the thing. And the kid directors are like, okay, great, thank you very much, get off the stage. So these kids bring out a harp and they don't even let him perform. They're just like, thank you, next. Blousy does his thing, and the kid directors, they're clearly improving, which is really funny, because they sort of talk over each other. The kids, yeah, great face, you could do a lot with that face. And then Little Lena comes on, the diva.
Was that her name, Little Lena?
Yeah, the diva star who just waltzes in and is like, all right, I'm coming back, fine, I'll do it again. I'm the star, everyone should be looking at me. And this kid was nailing it. She's like one of the youngest in the cast, but she is just fantastic. She takes no prisoners from the get-go.
Yeah, I was thinking it when I was like, what the fuck is this kid been? Like, she has so much charisma.
Yeah.
It was astonishing, and she was owning it. You talk about the guy who played Fat Sam chewing up the scenery. Mm-hmm. She owned that moment. And when she was singing, and I found this so disrespectful. She was rehearsing.
Yeah.
And Blousy and Bugsy are having a conversation with the gods. And it's just like, you're so disrespectful by shouting so loud just because you didn't get your shot. You're just angry at this star on stage right now.
Take it outside the house, guys.
Yeah, take it outside. Stop being so disrespectful. But the kid, however, wow. Did she ever do anything?
Yeah. She went on to do stuff. She's only in this movie for like 30 seconds, but she is just so memorable. Where's Lena? Come on, keyboard.
No such thing as small parts, only small actors.
Bonnie Langford.
That's a great name.
English actress, dancer, and singer. Had a notable role in the 70s in the TV series Just William. She was a Doctor Who companion in the 80s.
With which Doctor?
In the 80s, that would have been like Sylvester McCoy, seventh.
As you can clearly tell, I do not know a single thing about the Doctors.
No. I don't remember the middle ones.
You love Doctor Who.
I got really into Doctor Who when I was about 12.
Yeah, I could never get past the exterminate.
The Daleks, they're pretty goofy. They've been used well, but then they started overusing them. Yeah, I fell off Doctor Who around the Peter Capaldi era.
I have seen his last scene as Doctor Who.
I've seen his last scene. Capaldi's great, just didn't have the best material.
Because I thought you would just be misogynistic and didn't watch the female Doctor.
No, I saw a bit of her. She also didn't have the best material.
Don't they have a black one now?
Yes, Nkuti, what's his name? Nkuti
Gatwa.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Haven't seen any of that. That's on Disney now. Haven't seen any of those episodes. I didn't see all of Jodie Whittaker's stuff.
Love to see. There's probably a compilation of the Doctor's last scene.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would love to see that.
David Tennant's was great. Matt Smith's not super memorable, but really good in context.
But no Doctors in Bugsy Malone.
No, just a companion.
Just a companion. Good for her.
Yeah.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's 60.
Ah.
She was on EastEnders for a while. She's doing bits. She's fine. What other bits do I have about this? Shaming the kids into joining his child army. They got Fizzy in the crossfire. Oh no. When Jodie Foster gets pied in the face and just says, "So this is show business." Great line. Some great lines.
There's no business like show business.
That's a whole different movie.
What movie is that from?
I think the song is just sort of a classic musical theater song, but there was a movie called No Business Like Show Business with Ethel Merman and Denny Kaye and Mitzi Gaynor and Donald O'Connor, who are it's hilarious. Ethel Merman and this other guy played the parents of this showbiz family, and their kids go into show business, and their kids are Ethel Merman and Mitzi Gaynor, who are just not Ethel Merman, Donald O'Connor and Mitzi Gaynor, who are outclassing their parents at every point. Not in the plot of the movie, but as performers, when you watch the movie, you're just like, oh Jesus, these two are so much better than their parents. They even do the same number as their parents at one point, and it's Marilyn Monroe's in it.
Oh, of course she is.
As an
Have you ever seen what's it called? Blondes do.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Yeah, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Saw that when I was young. There's a really funny scene in No Business Like Show Business. Is it Danny Kaye? No, Johnny Ray, who was this sort of pop star at the time. He has this whole scene where he's really sort of serious, and he gets his parents in the room, and he's like, "Mom, Dad, I gotta tell you something. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I just really need to get this off my chest, and I know you might be a bit disappointed, but this is just who I am. I want to become a priest." And it was so clearly the writers were like, he's gay. It's a coming out scene, but it's the 40s and they can't do that. So it's like, I'm going to become a priest. At one point he literally says, "I was born this way." It's just hysterical.
Closing thoughts. Yeah,
really fun movie. Not amazing, but just it's good fun. It's got some catchy tunes in it. Michael Jackson plays Razzmatazz, but not Michael Jackson, just some other fucking kid named Michael Jackson.
Oh, I feel so sorry for that kid.
I know.
Oh my god. I bet he changed his name.
He didn't continue acting, as far as I know.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Listen, this isn't a film to go in seriously with.
No.
It's not. We've even spent time thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Or consider the many far-reaching implications of this adultless apocalypse that these kids are
Yeah.
living.
Ask yourself some interesting... You should watch it with a kid
Yeah.
and see it through their eyes. You can watch it by yourself and be in touch with your inner kid and just allow the innocence to wash over you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is one of those films where it's exactly what it's supposed to be. And you have to watch it for what it's supposed to be. And you might like it.
Yeah.
Of a certain age, you might not like it.
There's definitely, like, between the ages of probably 14 and until I got a good sense of irony at like age 18 or 19, I wouldn't have enjoyed watching this.
Yeah, you have to be younger than that.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit older than 18.
Young enough to suspend your disbelief, old enough to not take yourself so seriously.
Yeah, don't take yourself so seriously as you're watching this. The kids are not taking themselves seriously.
No.
And that adds to the charm of the film. But next week, it's going to be... Do you want to say?
I'm still undecided. Singing in the Rain is a good potential. We're going to get to that at some point, but I've got a few other ideas. So stay tuned.
Okay. This has been... We'll name this podcast later. Stay safe, prosper. Do not take anything we said seriously. Especially if Max skips some of the stuff that we talked about.
Yeah, that will be edited out, but the audience will not know.
That's okay, but I stand by that. Okay, thank you.
Peace.